And we back with another reflection on the Daily Vedantic. And this is a knowledge bomb. This is not just a knowledge bomb, this is a map. It is a treasure map within one question. This comes from Ramana Maharshi, who would famously respond to people asking him questions at the highest order within their spiritual pursuit of what is the nature of reality? Who is God? Are you enlightened? He would respond simply with, and this is a famous aspect, maybe one of the most famous aspects of how he would teach and guide. He would respond with, who is asking the question? Let that land for a few moments in the same way that I would imagine he would give that space and let it land. Who is asking the question? In the midst of asking, are you an enlightened being? Or what is the nature of reality? Is this an illusion? These might be the deepest end of the pool. These are the deepest questions that you could ask a alleged enlightened. And most of the time you'd get an articulate answer from an enlightened sage that tracks to the responses documented throughout history from such masters. But Ramana would reply a little bit differently. He would implore this pursuit of self-inquiry where we go within. This isn't too dissimilar from Christ saying the kingdom of heaven is within you. This is certainly not dissimilar to the Gita or Krishna teaching in his own way that is surrender to the higher makes this entire external world collapse, dissolve, and there only being existence on the other side. But, well, I use that phrase lightly, on the other side. Only being existence once the illusion falls away. But this redirection inwards is perhaps most emphatically and poignantly from Ramana Maharshi, saying, who is asking the question? The reason, at least for myself, that this is so fascinating to reflect on is because we so rarely go within. And this is integral for two reasons. One, we're told by this philosophy that it is not out there. Whatever we are searching for, whatever we are looking for, whatever pursuit we have, peace, prosperity, happiness, enlightenment, completeness, it is not out there. It's not in the job. It's not in the spouse. It's not in the fame, name, status. It's not in the financial milestone. It's not in the validation. It's not out there. That's the first redirection. Is you're asking these questions just like anyone would, just like I would, to an enlightened sage, and the sage is redirecting you away from what insight or wisdom he might have. The second notable aspect of this is redirecting us inwards, not just inwards towards insight in general, but directing us inwards towards this specific topic. Who are we? Who is it that is listening to this episode right now? Who is it that is having the thoughts that you're having right now? Who is it that is listening to this voice? The subject matter of this episode and every episode the subject matter of every text within this philosophy, every single one, without fail, every lecture within this philosophy, the subject matter is you, the one listening to this. The you that is behind those thoughts, that is observing the voice that you're listening to, the thoughts that you might have in response to this voice. The subject matter has always been you. Not the 30-something-year-old that lives in city X that has job Y. Not that version of you. Those are the clothes that we wear. You're not your shirt. You're not your pants. You're not your job. You're not your thoughts. That is all garb thrown over the real you. And this philosophy for all of us, and the infinite road ahead for myself, is the constant reflection on who we truly are, said perhaps and directed most poignantly in a moment of confusion, of misapprehension and thinking it's out there, or in the sage in a cave in India. Perhaps the time is far better spent inquiring within and really become a domain expert on the subject that is at the heart of everything we do anyhow. But not just treat it as an innocent bystander or the passenger in the car, the you that's always there, but a pursuit to become a domain expert, a pursuit internally of even asking ourselves this question instead of assuming we have the answer of course I'm so-and-so from this old place that does these things, but going to questioning, going deeply into the person behind it all, the identity behind it all. I've heard it said that it would be like describing yourself if you were an infant. Pete Holmes said this on a podcast recently. I think he was quoting Rupert Spira. And that identity behind it all, that light behind it all. Pete Holmes described it this way on a podcast recently. I think it was Rupert Spira that he was quoting. So Pete is a non-dualist as well, and Rupert is a famous author within this tradition, and I believe it was Rupert that described it like, he said it's like an infant that has yet to open their eyes, being asked to describe what they are. Infant that has not opened their eyes, being asked to describe what that experience is like. Before opening the eyes and learning the names and forms to split up the all, the universe, before being told what name they are, what religion they are, what group they belong to, what group they certainly don't belong to, what they're not, and how they would describe their experience of this. Scriptures within this philosophy, 5,000 years back, have this consistent message that you are existence itself. Sat Chit Ananda. I believe we did an episode on that recently. Existence, consciousness, bliss. Or truth, consciousness, bliss. And all of this language just pointers back to what we are. And if we can pull ourselves away from that external pursuit that just points us back to who we are, and go straight to the source, to ask ourselves that question, to inquire within. And maybe that would help us more in our spiritual pursuit than any question we could ask a master or any answer we could ever hear them say. Who is asking the question? That is today's reflection on the Daily Vedantic. We'll see you next time.